So we are back on a special Saturday edition on the Undisputed GOAT podcast. Enjoy all this very good college football, man. Live from the greatest city in America, Columbus, Georgia, man. How y'all doing today, man? What's going on, guys?
I'm doing flipping fantastic. How about you?
I am doing pretty doggone good myself. I cannot complain.
Hey, man, we got all this good college football on, man. Hey, man, a lot of good games that just came on, man. Let's get right into it, man. What are y'all thinking about it? What do y'all think about some of the upsets and the recaps today? Now, we just saw Notre Dame after that devastating loss to Northern Illinois University come right back and essentially come back with a vengeance. I mean, when they say vengeance strikes hardest, I mean, they struck because they beat the brakes off of Purdue 66-7. I mean, they came out and just flat out did them up. Then we had the Oregon Ducks. They come out and beat Oregon State 42-16 and have over 550 yards of offense, 250 on the ground. Now we have one of the big games on, Georgia versus Kentucky. They going at it right about now, man. What are y'all thoughts about it? Is there any big games that we need to go back and recap over that y'all are looking at? Because from what I'm seeing, Dillon Gabriel is a Heisman candidate at this point. Oregon is a high-powered offense at this point in time. They're really not going to be tested until Ohio State comes to town in a few weeks. We had that big, huge upset down there in a near upset down there in South Carolina, because LSU made it out of there by the skin of their teeth. And when I mean by the skin of their teeth, it was really, if they reached out a second sooner, it would have been over. So, I mean, look, any big upsets any other game that y'all been watching tonight that needs some attention? Because I've been watching pretty much everything, but hey, there's a lot of other games that don't necessarily get the national attention that we want. So
I'll start it. Well, first off, shout out to the Pittsburgh Panthers. Down 10 against West Virginia, came back and won 38-34 in like a shootout. And that was almost predicted to be a shootout, but they came back from 10 down, beat West Virginia, and basically like I said, it was basically like, OK Corral shootout. Like they were going blow for blow. So shout out to the Pitt Panthers. Florida State needs to shut up for the rest of the season. Don't say nothing else to me if you're a Florida State fan for the rest of the season. Keep your mouths closed. We gave you Georgia Tech, but then Boston College and then Memphis at home. Shut up the rest of the season. Don't even talk about college playoff. You're 0-3. You're done. Shout out to Dillon Gabriel. He has definitely he really kind of put his foot up there as far as Heisman candidacy. He did the damn thing today. Shout out to Dillon Gabriel. And boy, I did not watch the LSU South Carolina game, but my gosh, I mean, come on, that's like LSU. I know you. Whoever it is you pray to, I know y'all praying to him. But boy, y'all escaped. Y'all escaped.
It was by far the game of the week. Like so far, I mean, at least so far. I watched it after my Badgers kind of crapped the bed against Alabama. Unfortunately, I thought there'd be I had some hope going into in the first quarter and stuff with my Badgers, and they just one, their quarterback got hurt, and then the next thing, then you just kept making dumb mistakes, and can't do that against a program like Alabama. And Alabama, you're talking about college game. This is Alabama's first test, really, of the season, to see where they're at after Saban left. Speaking of Saban, he did say that he expected Notre Dame to come back and make a statement, and they did. My big thing right now, which is going on right now live, is Texas, and I know they're only playing UTSA, but Ewers is injured, and Arch Manny's come in and throwing for 171 yards on 9 attempts and 3 touchdowns.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it's not like Ewers was playing bad. He was 14 of 16 for 185 and 2 touchdowns, but he doesn't have a last name of Manning. And I wonder, and on top of it, by the way, Arch also has 3 rushes for 53 yards and a touchdown as well.
Damn.
So,
hey, Ewers might not be getting his job back. So
nope, I don't think so. I know we've seen this over the years. Like we just in one injury, and then the guy takes advantage of it. Other than that, I didn't see a lot of surprises of college football today. Everything was kind of uniform. Nebraska is rolling at halftime right now. Tennessee is rolling against Kent State. Mm-hmm. Even the Alabama-Wisconsin game, that was pretty predictable, especially after Van Dyke went down. And I'm not really surprised that LSU and South Carolina was that close. It's a rivalry game. South Carolina is not a bad football team. And it was just a great football game. But other than that, it's been a pretty quiet week of college football for the most part. Miami, we had a question mark last week. Is the U back? We've had that discussion kind of the last couple of weeks. Is this, first it was, will they be? And then after week 1, it's like, well, okay, is it back? And they're making a statement. They're ranked 10th in the country. Ward is just going off still. Mm-hmm. I mean, they won 62-0 over. I know it's Ball State, but still, like if you're that good, you're supposed to be, you're supposed to put the weaker teams down like a dog. So they went out and did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, just make sure you don't eat the dog.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Okay. Shout out to Sports For You podcast, man.
That's Sports For You.
The best in the West. Georgia versus Kentucky, very competitive right now. PSP.
Man.
Hey, how FSU is 0-3. Hey, PSP, look, they had a whole lot of guys graduate and went to the NFL. Over 15 guys went to the NFL. And I don't think they prepared outside. I don't think that team had enough depth last year in order to go into this year. Usually when a team goes into a national championship picture or something like that, they usually have a lot of depth. It doesn't seem like Florida State had a lot of depth going into last year and even coming into this year. It seems like once those players graduated, it seems like they just like, okay, that's it. And we just put them ahead based off of reputation. I don't know. That's the quickest fall off I have ever seen. That downfall needs to be studied thoroughly.
Well, I don't think it's. I said it last week. I said, Florida State lost, I think 14 or 15 starters.
Yeah.
So this isn't that big of a surprise. And teams, and this is why I think a lot of big schools are going to start coming back to the pack a little bit. Like they might get one really great recruiting class, but keeping depth is going to be impossible now because players can just go, well, I'm not going to play here. I'm just going to go somewhere else. So I'm not surprised that FSU they had no depth. It was just all gone. And anybody that didn't want to, that wasn't playing, they're like, well, I can just go somewhere else. Get more money, get more playing time, better facilities, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, I don't think they had a lot of depth last year either.
No.
I think it was just the players that they had. They had that magical run, and now that them players are gone, it's just like, okay, that's all we got right about now. So it's like, damn, But I don't really think they had a lot of depth even last year. This year it's even worse. So, Frank, you got anything you want to add, man?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think this is going to be one of those seasons where where we talk about, parity in sports and how we want to see it more, particularly in college football. I think this might be one of those seasons where parity kind of rears its ugly head, and you're going to see a lot of really, we're going to see a lot of like 1-loss, 2-loss teams really kind of making a claim for the college football playoff this year, particularly, with it being a 12-team format this year. So, this is. But honestly, it is honestly, I feel like it's good for the sport though. Parity is good for the sport. You don't want the same teams, taking all the spots. You want to see some different squads. Like you want to see teams like Nebraska. You want to see teams like Nebraska and Miami kind of rekindle, what they had at one point. You want to. I mean, of course, you won't like your Georgias, your Alabamas, your Texases. Your perennial guys. But then you got like the Nebraskas, the Miamis. Hopefully the Notre Dames, the old guard kind of coming back, making a stand. So, and then you're maybe a surprise here and there, that might not necessarily be a power 5 school, kind of making a name for themselves. So I'm hoping for a lot of parity this year with a 12-team format. A lot of teams that can like make a claim to get a spot. That's honestly what I'm really hoping for this season.
Yeah. And for those of you who are watching the Georgia Kentucky game right now, they're about to go into the half momentarily. I think they're about to kick a field goal momentarily. What game are you covering, Flash?
Right now, I actually have Colorado and Colorado State up. They're at halftime right now, and Colorado is up. Where'd it go? Colorado is up. Sorry, I was sharing our feed to Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Colorado's up 14-3 right now, currently at halftime.
Nice. I'm loving the fact that they're up right now, but I don't think even after this game, this is a sign of things to come. I'm just gonna be real with you.
No, you should go in there and take care of business and build off of this. But George Sanders is having a great game. He's 20-27 for 167 and 2 touchdowns. So but yes, they have a long way to go as a team, and but we'll see.
Okay, so real quick, man, going into the next segment, man. Who's the team to beat in college football right about now, or is there a team to beat right now?
I don't think there is right now. I don't. It's still way too early to tell. Now, I'll say this though. Like Oregon's making a statement, Texas is making a clear statement, Alabama made a clear statement today with what they did to Wisconsin. So I mean, you got teams out there making statements. Georgia made theirs early, dismantling Clemson the way they did. So right now, a clear-cut favorite, there is none. I think it's more along the lines of a lot of teams are putting their claims into why they're going to be around late season when it comes time to, pick the 12, for the 12 to get into the college football playoff. Right now, I'm not going to say there's a definitive team to beat right now. There are teams that are out there kind of, marking. There are teams marking the territory right now.
Yeah. Flash?
I'm always kind of the person that, like, unless the champ is like, a complete, bust or whatever, I think the champ is always the team to beat. So I think Georgia's a team to beat until they're not around anymore. I think the hottest team right now, you could argue, is Miami. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest surprise, the biggest who's the pretty girl walking into the ball type thing. Like it's kind of like that. Like ooh, I like that. And so I think that's the fun part right now in college football. But right now I think it's Georgia. I don't see why they wouldn't be. They haven't given any reason for any of us to doubt, unless although Kentucky's up 6-3. So are you guys emotionally going to be okay during this podcast if this goes south?
Nah.
No.
Okay.
No, we'll be good.
You'll be good. You sure?
Yeah, we'll be good.
Trust me, 1,000%. We've gone through too much in the state of Georgia to stress out about anything at this point.
That's
exactly. Hey, you can get through. Hey, you can get through certain stuff. You can get through anything. But real quick, early in the show, we got a little pipe bomb courtesy of PSP. You know, I know wrestling wasn't a part of this segment on the show tonight, but he has a quick question. And you know, us being us, you know, let's talk about it. You know, what I'm saying? We got time tonight. You know, so who was the worst ring wrestler? Ultimate Warrior or Goldberg?
Ultimate Warrior. Not even close. Ultimate Warrior is not even close. Was a worse in ring performer than Goldberg. Not even close. At least with Goldberg, he has decent matches in his catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Warrior has unifying the Intercontinental and WWE championships against Hogan at that WrestleMania, and really that's it. It's Ultimate Warrior by landslide. Not even close.
Yeah, yeah. And Warrior was an awful person on top of that. So like and BRF's right. Goldberg has at least a couple, like there's a couple matches that you can point to that if he had somebody that could lead a match and lead him through a match, and I'm talking about like really it's a lot of them are in WWE. He doesn't really have any great matches.
He's got good WCW matches. He's got good WCW matches.
I'm trying to remember. Dude, it's been a while. I'm trying to remember.
I said, the one
Diamond Dallas Page. He's got Diamond Dallas Page that won Halloween Havoc.
You're right.
I think he's got Halloween. I think he's got good Halloween Havoc matches with Goldberg and Sting. If I'm correct. If I'm correct.
Yes. No, the one on Monday Nitro when Hulk Hogan interfered and kicked Sting in the head when he had him in the Scorpion Deathlock. That was a good one. Because I thought Sting was about to end the streak, but that should have been a pay-per-view. But that was
the Nitro match with Sting. That was good too.
I forgot about the DDP match. That's probably his best match ever.
Yes,
hands down. Well,
yeah, I would say best ever.
The Chris Jericho match in 2003 at Bad Blood.
Yeah, Jericho for as much of a blowhard as he is now, that dude can lead a match. He's up there with like almost Michaels, where he can lead a match with anybody.
Yeah. And shout out to the Chosen League podcast, man. Hey, doing big things on this podcast. Congratulations on everything. Also, Goldberg was a beast during the time. Yes, he was. But as far as in-ring ability, the worst wrestler had to be Warrior. The real thing they had to do, God rest his soul, they had to do a lot of promos around him in order to build him up. You couldn't really get that satisfaction in the ring. And at least with Goldberg, you had a few good matches with him. With him, every match had to be a squash match. Even especially, I think the biggest squash match that he had was that return against Triple H at WrestleMania 12. That was like, wow, damn, you just came out here and destroyed a guy in less than like 2 minutes. And it was just like amazing.
Well, you know that.
No, go ahead, Flash.
You know the reason why Tripp was his punishment. That was Tripp's punishment. That was
before the curtain call. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole thing.
That's after the curtain call. Right?
WrestleMania?
No, right.
Yeah, that was before the curtain call.
Right. I was his punishment was supposed to be because he was supposed to win King of the Ring that upcoming year.
Yeah.
And they gave it to Austin instead. That was the punishment. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah, but it's all right. But that was before the curtain call. But even then, Triple H was still a hot commodity in the WWE, even though he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Oh, he was probably their best mid-card heel at the time.
Yeah, one of their best mid-card heels. So, yeah, man, it's just like he squashed him, and it was just like I said, a lot of squash matches, a lot of storytelling outside of the ring, especially the one with Papa Shango. You know, that was a award for the ages. It's just like, oh, okay, but they had to go outside of the ring in order because they couldn't get it in the ring.
His feud with Savage was all right.
Yes, the retirement match. Yes,
yeah, that was at the Rumble. Or that's at the Rumble, right? I think
no, it's WrestleMania 8. WrestleMania 8.
That's yeah.
WrestleMania 7. Excuse me, WrestleMania 7.
Okay, but, that was a pretty good match. Well, and then he loses the What's the one where is that at WrestleMania where Savage hit him over the head with the scepter?
No, that was at the Royal Rumble earlier that year. He was defending it against Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. But I thought his run with Savage was okay. I mean, Savage carried that, obviously, but Warrior's there for like moments. Like you remember him, like you don't remember anything in his WCW run except for him showing up to confront Hogan on Nitro.
Yeah.
You remember him for his Triple H squash match. Like his run in 96 before he bailed again. I remember I was at the 96 King of the Ring as a 14, 13. How old was I? 12. I don't know, something like that. 14. And I was there, and that was when Michaels was the champ and Ahmed Johnson was at his like peak. And they were going in Cornette. What was Cornette's faction called?
The Rock and Roll Express? Or
No. It was like he had a bunch of guys. It was like Owen. He had like used Owen's manager, the Bulldog, Vader.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Jim Cornette's whatever. It was his crew or whatever. And I remember after Bulldog and Owen and Vader came out and just beat the crap out of Michaels after Michaels beat. I think the Bulldog at King of the Ring.
He beat the British Bulldog. Yeah,
beat the Bulldog, and then Vader and Owen came out, beat the crap out of him. Then Ahmed came out, and then the whole place. This is after the cameras went off, I think. The whole place started chanting "Warrior," and the Warrior came running out. It was cool as hell. But like, he could never just keep going. It was just sad. He was always his worst enemy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But man, look. Got to get it. Shout out to PSP. Shout out to PSP for bringing that up, man. It's crazy how those two were the most popular wrestlers during their time, but not necessarily great wrestlers. Now that we're older, we're able to see that a little bit more. Imagine if Triple H won the King of the Ring. Does he get what he deserved because of the family?
I think Triple H succeeds regardless.
Yeah,
because he was that good. I think he succeeds no matter what.
Yeah. I think the bigger question is, does Austin become Austin? Because that's the 96 King of the Ring is
pivotal.
Is the Austin 316 moment. That's when he has the feud with Jake Roberts.
Right.
I look at the Triple H Austin thing very much like Bledsoe Brady. If this doesn't happen, does like Brady get the opportunity? If Bledsoe doesn't pop a lung, does Brady ascend to who he is? If Triple H wins the King of the Ring and keeps kind of getting his push, does Austin, get his? Because McMahon wasn't even really a big fan of Austin.
So, no, he wasn't. So
no.
But hey, man, shout out to PSP for bringing that to us, man. Good bit of business. Shout out to PSP, almost to 17,000 followers. But man, look, got to get back into it, man. Got to get back into the NFL since we're on football. We're watching college football. We're covering everything. We had something very, very kind of tragic happen this past Monday with the Tua incident, man. And if you really look back at it, it really was. I watched it several times. It was hard to watch, because of the actor effect, but I watched it and it wasn't really a hard hit. I'm thinking it was a bone crunching hit, but it really was. It looks like just a regular hit. And it looks like that from there, it was just like, from there, everything happened the way it did. So, man, I got to start it off and set the tone just the way it is. Should Tua retire? And if he does it, should the NFL and the Miami Dolphins force him to retire? And whoever wants to go first.
I'll go. I'm on the Mike McDaniels. I'm on his side with this. Can we just let's just see what the doctors and the professionals say first, and then go from there. Like at the end of the day, this is Tua's choice, and we spoke about this before the start of the year, or it was one of our summer topics about. We brought up the Guardian helmet and player safety and stuff like that. And I've always been of the opinion that, as I'm a little old school, I've always been a firm believer in the fact that, football is a hardcore sport, and these guys know what they're getting into. Do you have to protect somebody from themselves? That's a slippery slope. I don't know.
To be honest, go ahead.
I'm a wait and see right now. That's what I want to. I want to wait and see what the doctors say. It is. If I take my football opinion out of it, like let's say it's my son, I would probably want him to hang it up. I'll put it that way. Like if it was my kid out there, if I put it like I would want him to retire. I'd probably ask him, but at the end of the day, I would even as a father, I'd be like, this is your choice. Like that you're a man. You need to make it. You make your own decision. It's your body, your choice.
I'm gonna have to be honest with you. If I'm the owner of that team, and this is what the NFL needs to watch out for, because you send him back out there again, especially if he gets cleared, because there's a clause in his contract. Shout out to Casual, by the way. Much love to Casual, bro. Check him out.
Sir.
Subject matter expert. Sometimes, as a young man, and all of us can attest to this, we've all been young before. Sometimes you're not smart enough to realize what's good for you. And you best believe if they clear Tua anytime this year, he's going to try to go out there, if not for any other reason, than to say, okay, they just signed me to this huge contract. Okay, I still got to get at least a little bit of that before I leave. If not anything, despite, like I said, he may love football, but the thing is, if anything else is like, hey, man, I got to look out for my family's future. And I think that, look, they need to just say this. Look, we understand that we just signed you to this huge contract, but guess what? I'm not going to send you out there because guess what? I think he got look, I'm just going to be real, and I'm just going to be very, very honest. I think he got one more time to get hit before something real tragic happens. I think he got one more time to get hit, and then something real drastic going to happen, and then you're going to get a lot of black eyes on the NFL, because if he goes out there and gets, let's say, if he hurts his head or hurts his neck or something like that, on top of having all of these concussions, then that's going to put a black mark on the NFL. That's going to put a black mark on the Miami Dolphins, and people are going to say, hey, why in the blankety blank didn't you force this young man to retire, because you knew he was going to go back out there if you cleared it. So to PSP's point, if he's forced to retire, he can keep that $120 million.
Yeah.
And my thing is this. Look, I understand business is business, but stay in tune with your humanity. Not to mention Stephen Ross. He just sold 15% of the Miami Dolphins to a minority state. So you got that money to really clean up house with, if you get what I'm trying to say. So guess what? Force this behind to retire. Start looking in the college ranks to see who you can get at the quarterback position. Because the thing is this. He's going to go back out there if you don't force him not to.
But when are we supposed to, just to play a little bit devil's advocate here, when are we supposed to listen to the doctors? If they clear him and they say, well, he's at no bigger risk, or let's say, look, he's at no bigger risk, but make him wear the Guardian helmet. When are the doctors right or are the doctors wrong? And I just feel like
my bad. I'm sorry, Flash.
No, you're fine. If multiple doctors, even let's say he gets multiple decisions, and most of them say, yeah, he's at no bigger risk to do any kind of severe damage, but make him wear the guarding helmet just in case.
Well, the thing is this: if I'm the owner of a team, I'm the CEO of a team. I'm not risking it. I
get that point of view too. Yeah, you're right.
If I'm the CEO of a team, I'm not number one. Stephen Ross has so much skeletons in this closet anyway when it comes to certain things in the NFL. So he already is under a microscope already, because regardless of how good that team is, there's been some shady history behind the Miami Dolphins and the way they do business. You know, especially when they asked Dez Bryant the question that they asked him right before they got drafted with him and Jeff Ireland. So guess what? I mean, they don't have a lot of confidence in this league or among fans at this point. So, I mean, if I'm the owner, knowing that, I'm going to say this: look, you need to go ahead. We'll give, even if you have to give him a job in another capacity and say, look, we're going to pay you like the baseball player. What's his name? BRF Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla.
Bonilla.
Even if we have to pay you like Bobby Bonilla for the next 10 years, we'll pay you $10 million until the contract runs out. Look, we're not going to put you back on that field, because guess what? You mess around and go back out there on that field and he passes away. We have an even worse situation than the Damar Hamlin situation. Now there's a black mark on the NFL. Now, instead of, you being proactive and making him retire, now you got to be reactive in PR. Now you got to be reactive in hiring doctors and lawyers. And why even go through spending millions of dollars, even more millions of dollars, trying to get your name cleared as a CEO and an owner of a team? Well, you could just simply say, you know what, you're not going back on my field. You might be a great player and you're an asset to this team, but you're not going back out there on my watch. You get hurt, and now not only is your coffin on my conscience, but also everybody, it's a PR nightmare for the NFL, and everybody's coming after me now. After all this time, I'm forced to sell the team because of bad press, bad PR, and bad everything, when I could have simply just let my humanity come into play and just say, look here, man, the money don't matter. Take the money, retire before something really bad happens. This is not the first time we've seen guys retire because of concussions. We saw Luke Kuechly, one of the best defensive players of all time at middle linebacker. He had to retire because of concussions. We saw another quarterback who was a Super Bowl winner in Steve Young. Remember when Lawrence Phillips, God rest his soul, missed that block, and guy came off and Aeneas Williams came off the edge and lit him up like a Christmas tree. We saw Roger Staubach having to retire because of concussion. So this is not the first person. Huh?
And that was the 70s.
Yeah, that was the 70s. So we've seen guys having to, retire because of concussions. But now you got a bigger hold on it, right about now. Back then, social media wasn't as big. You didn't have it wasn't a 24-hour sport like it is today. And rather than have all of that bad press, just go ahead and make the young man retire. Start looking for yourself another quarterback. I mean,
I'm just of the. Let's just wait for the doctor's opinions first. I'm okay with them saying no, don't go back out there. I'm okay with them, and I'm and being like and the Miami organization be like, look, we'll pay you 85 of the 124, whatever it may be, or whatever, or all 124, whatever, or I just want to wait and see. We're so reactive in today's day and age with social media and everything that I just want to see. And this is this kid's livelihood. And so to just jump at it and take that away from him, that's the thing that I'm not quite okay jumping at. I do understand the caution. I understand the caution if I was his dad or if I was Stephen Ross, the owner. Yeah, the risk of the PR, that would not be good. It wouldn't be good for the league either. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the league stepped in and said, look, you not even Stephen Ross, but the league said, look, you have to make him retire or you're retiring. Because if you are right, if something bad does happen to him, like a Damar Hamlin thing, but worse. Like he doesn't get up.
It's gonna be some smoke in the city, and that ain't no lie. BRF, what do you think, man? We've been talking about it. What do you think?
What scared me the most about that incident was the after effect after the hit. It was his right arm and the trauma that hit his body after that hit. That's what scared me the most, because now his body is in a situation to where every time he gets a hit like that, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. The reactions are going to get worse. Now, I do agree. Let's see what the doctors say first. I am kind of flashy, kind of persuade me on that. Let's see what the doctors say first. But then also at the same time, he was cleared before the season started, and then it happened again. Now, I'm not saying you can foreshadow it. You can't see it coming, but he was cleared before and it happened again. So those are really like two of the things that kind of worry me about the whole situation. So it's like, yeah, I kind of see what the doctors say. If he's like, because I feel like if they clear him to the competitor that he is going to want to play. So I do feel like if they do clear him and he wants to play, put the Guardian cap on. He's got to play. If he's going to play, he's got to play with the Guardian cap. He's got to play with the Guardian cap on. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He has to play with the Guardian cap on.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like I said. But this whole situation is such a slippery slope, and it's a scary topic because then you're at the situation like where it's okay. This is why the Guardian cap was instituted in the NFL. He takes another hit with that Guardian cap, and it doesn't help him. Then what? Because I mean, this is what the Guardian caps were designed for. They were designed for player safety. They were designed for head safety, particularly crown of the head. I mean, the Guardian cap is designed for the crown of the head. It's basically what it's there for.
Right.
And I'm just the whole situation just worries me. It really worries me, which is why I think you let the time play out as far as how long he's going to miss, because I mean it's a concussion. So I feel like with a concussion, he's guaranteed out a month. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. It's at least a month with a concussion. You're not going to take no chances with a concussion. You're just not. And you kind of want to play it week by week, kind of see what the doctors are saying. His motor skills, just everything, just monitoring him, everything, just seeing just seeing how he's doing, and kind of taking it from there. But you really need to lay. If I'm the NFL and if I'm the Miami Dolphins and I'm Tua's doctors, you got to lay every option on the table for him. You got to put it all. You have to put it all out there, and you have to really analyze everything bit by bit, because this is without a shadow of a doubt the most important decision of that man's career and life at this point, because it's either okay, they cleared me, I'm gonna give it a shot, or I'm thinking about myself, I'm thinking about my family's future. I don't want to be in a situation where I can't be physically able to do what I want to do after the game of football. I mean, he's got such a decision on his hand here, because this is gonna and the thing is, not really wanting to put the Miami Dolphins in this, because I feel like they're not really that important in the grand scheme of things, because this is about a man's life and career. But this is altering so many different angles. Because now if you're the Miami Dolphins, now you're back at square one if he does have to retire. Because you're basically stuck with Skylar Thompson for the rest of the year if Tua's out. So now you're back at square one, having to go get a quarterback. Like I said, this is probably one of the most important decisions around that franchise, and particularly with his health and his career. it's like I'm gonna wait and see what the doctors say, but they need to lay everything out there for him.
I think he ends up retiring. That's what I think. I do think that happens. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be pressure from his family. That's what I think. It's going to be like, hey, we don't want to see you in a coffin. Like I don't, and we don't know how bad it can get. With CTE, we know how bad it can get, but we don't know how bad it can get from like an instant in the moment on field. How bad can this get? Like if he gets another one, like does it like can it kill him? Like,
I mean, do you really want to run that risk and see? That's the reason why I'm saying that's the whole thing. Why I'm saying like, hey, look, retiring. Hey, you can't walk back out here.
Well, that's the scary part. You guys both mentioned it was the type of hit because it wasn't really a big hit. He puts his head to one, dude. You have a concussion history. Get down and slide.
Exactly.
Like, that's the one big thing that we haven't brought up yet. This dude should be Tom Brady, Peyton Manning it for the rest of his career, where he gets to the point where he gets what he needs and then basically does a really awkward baseball slide and we all make fun of him. Like this is what he should have been doing. So that's the biggest mistake that he made. But what is scary is he did do the right thing. He didn't go in head first. He puts his head to the side. And all the brunt of the hit is in his shoulder. So literally what caused the concussion is not him hitting his head on something. It's literally the force of the stop of the hit. And the brain so it wasn't even that bad. But just the inertia of him being stopped. Like that's what's kind of scary is how sensitive his brain is to just being like stopped like that. That's scary. Like again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just going off of what I see and what I do know. Excuse me. But that is concerning. Like that makes me go like, man, that was just a pretty basic put your head down, drive a little bit, and you should be okay. And it wasn't that way. Oof, man, she's good. We got a really great women's fight right now on UFC. They're both a bloody mess right now. It's great. They're just tagging each other. But it's scary. I do think he ends up retiring. I think he is the only way I see him coming back is if the doctors give him full clearance and he wears that Guardian helmet. Like he's the first guinea pig to wear that Guardian helmet.
Hey, like I said, retiring. If I'm the owner, number one, as a human being, I don't want to see a tragedy on my conscience. I know other people have families and stuff like that. I don't want a young man's tragedy on my conscience. I mean, we've seen too many tragic figures in football, from Junior Seau to Mike Webster to a little bit of everyone. So do I really want to see a tragic? And the difference, if this was to happen with, them, these were guys who were already out of the NFL. These are guys who are long gone out of the NFL. Mike Webster's, your Junior Seau's, your Dave Duersons, guys like that. These are guys who are long out of the NFL. These are years gone by. But now we're seeing something unprecedented. We're seeing something take place right before our eyes. And do I want this to escalate so bad that we have to do damage control? Like I said, the humanity comes first. Humanity, because you got to keep like I said, before you are business or whatever, you have to be your humanity has to be intact. Number one, I'm looking at this. If I'm the owner of the Dolphins, look, if I have a son, I'm not trying to see him get hurt out here anymore. Look, retire. And number two, as a businessman, I don't want him to go back out there and guess what? Someone's coffin is on my conscience. Now I got to go through years of litigations, years of bad press, years of interviews, and it's just going to get only worse from there. So if I'm the owner of this team, then hey, look, young man, I know you want to play. I know football is a big part of your life, but you've been getting hurt ever since you was at University of Alabama. And I'm not going to send you out there on my watch. I can't send you out there. I apologize, but I can't. So, I mean, hey, I'd love to send you out there. You're a big part of this team. This offense, let's just keep it real, is different when you're out there on that field with us. But guess what? I'm not going to run the risk of you putting yourself 6 feet under. You know, you're only 26 years old. And guess what? We're going to force you medically to retire. Guess what? And if you need some assistance with transitioning into that life, guess what? We will do everything we can in order to help you at this point. We will do everything you can in order to help you. So if you want a job within the organization, that's fine. If you want to be a consultant with the organization, that's fine. If you want to be around your teammates, strength and conditioning, that's fine as well. If you want something in capacity with the team, that's fine. I'll be more than happy to give you a job, you know, help you out or whatever. But for no reason whatsoever are you to touch this field ever again. Even if you want some help with broadcasting, we'll be happy to put you on the Miami Dolphins broadcasting team. But no reason whatsoever are you to touch this field again. Because guess what? If you pass away out there, and it's on my watch as the owner and the CEO of the team, guess what? That's a lot of things that I have to deal with, not only financially, but emotionally. I would rather give you this 129 or whatever it is up front and see about you transitioning into your next lifetime rather than seeing you pass away on that field, which we've almost saw plenty of times. We've saw nearly many of times. You know, we've seen a lot of tragic figures in football. The only difference between those and this one right here is this is social media era of sports where we're seeing everything right before our eyes. Like I said, you're seeing everything in real time. Like we saw, everybody remembers the Darryl Stingley and Jack Tatum incident, but guess what? We saw it in real time, but it wasn't being covered 24 hours a day like this Tua thing is right about now. So if I'm the owner, I'd be mindful of it. But anything else you guys want to add?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good on it.
I do want to say I'll come at this from a little bit of a different angle. Again, I'm a little bit more old school when it comes to football and stuff like that, but I think if we want to keep a little bit of the lack of a better term, violence in professional football, so it doesn't turn into flag football, he probably should retire. Because if something catastrophic happens on the field, yes. I guarantee in the age of social media, if something happens on the field where he dies, the mob will come after the NFL and the government. By the way, I think we could that's something we could see. Like, all right, now you need to regulate you. Now we need to we're going to need to regulate you and what you can and cannot do. And
this is a perfect time for Roger Goodell to step in and say, "Hey, you're going to have to force the young man to retire."
That's why, like I said, I think you can see the league force him to retire, not not the team. So I feel bad for him. I really do. I just do. I hope I hope whatever decision comes across is that he's okay. That's what I care about.
Shout out to the Chosen League. He was like, Tua needs to take better care of him. Yes, he needs to learn how to slide. And if he is to come back, he needs to wear that Guardian cap. But I don't think he needs to come back at all. Retire, young man. And look, Miami Dolphins, force him to. Don't leave no stone unturned. But let's shift gears a little bit about the team that beat the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Because, the Bills have been on a roll lately. I know it's the first 2 games in the season, so it's overreaction in the first couple of weeks of the new season. what you got to ask yourself: are the Bills the team to beat in the NFC East right now? BRF, you got the floor, brother.
You mean the AFC East?
In the AFC East, excuse me, my bad.
It's early, but how are they not? How it's early, but if you're going to go off for 2 games, how are they not? I mean, I feel like it's one of those. Is like with Aaron Rodgers, it's about trusting his health, and it's about him trusting his teammates. And can they put up a better performance than they did against, San Francisco 49ers? Because it got close, but then after a while, San Francisco showed what they're San Francisco and pretty much did what we kind of figured they were going to do and run them off the field. As far as the Dolphins, I mean, they have talent, but I mean, if Tua is out, that offense isn't the same. I mean, just point blank period. And Tua doesn't have the strongest arm in his own right, but he at least has the chemistry with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and all of his talent on that offense. So I think right now the Buffalo Bills have to be considered the team to beat in the AFC East, even though it's just been a couple of games so far. I mean, they feel like it's almost like Josh Allen kind of reasserting himself and kind of reminding people why he's held to such the high standards that he is because of how good of a player he is. So I mean, this is like, I think the Buffalo Bills are kind of reminding everybody why we've had the stranglehold on the AFC East as long as we have, like to the length we've had these past few years. So I mean, even though it's early, Buffalo Bills are kind of asserting themselves as the team to beat in the AFC East.
Flash.
I had the receipt saying I thought Buffalo was not going to skip a beat, even though they lost Gabe Davis and Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the team to beat. I think the 2 teams to beat were Miami and Buffalo, and right now, Buffalo just went in there. Even before the Tua injury, they were spanking them left and right on the field. So I will say now. Look, I'm not saying they're going to contend for the division, but this team played a heck of a lot better than a lot of people thought.
Yes, they sure did.
Even me, I thought they were going to stink. Plain up, I thought they're going to be terrible. I think you're going to see a very competitive New England Patriots team, and I also think the New York Jets stink. I am of the record of saying that even Rodgers last year in Green Bay wasn't that good. Look what Jordan Love did with the same talent. And we haven't seen Rodgers play good football in close to over 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think New York has got a problem. They still have no offensive line. Rodgers, I think, is more concerned about other substances and not really concentrated on football. But I think Buffalo is far and away the best the team to beat in the AFC right now, or AFC East. Sorry, not the AFC.
All right. So look, BB and me, I'm not going to let us have a good show. Here comes the pipe bomb. Is Josh Allen top 2 quarterback right about now? Because the thing is, and the reason why I asked that is this. When you look at some of the players that he's played with, that he's playing with right now, and you look at some of his peers, he doesn't have a third of the talent on that team. As far as if you look at the Cleveland Browns, he doesn't have a third of that talent. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, he doesn't have a third of that talent. When you look at outside the offensive line, when you look at Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, he doesn't have a third of that talent. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, when you look at the 49ers, when you look at a lot of his peers, he doesn't have a third of that talent that they have or that they're playing with. Yet he is thriving every single year, regardless of him not being in certain conversations as far as MVPs. So is he top 2 right behind Patrick Mahomes, or is it still Lamar Jackson?
I've had him top 2 last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I already had him there, and we had a question, or we did a lot of talking like during the playoffs, as far as like Kansas City when they got hot and started making their run, and people, I guess they had posed the question of, who's the biggest rival for Patrick Mahomes right now, and I kept saying nobody. There is no rival for him because nobody's on his level as far as like not just to play the the stats and everything, but the accolades as well. And then Lamar Jackson got the second MVP, and then it's kind of like, okay, we might have a little something, but it seems like I can't get away from Josh Allen being considered for me the second best quarterback in the league. I can't get away from it. And I've had him up there, really the last couple of years for me. Just everything he brings to the table, having the arm that he has, but yet still, even having the arm that he has, not necessarily always being the most accurate, but keeping plays alive, his ability to run, just being able to, his ability to show, his ability to tote his team across the finish line when they need him. So I just feel like he does that the most outside of Patrick Mahomes as far as all the quarterbacks in the league right now. So for me, I've had him as the second best quarterback in the league for the last couple of years, and I don't know, just not a lot's really changed my mind on that. So yeah, I think Josh Allen's the second best quarterback in the league.
Flash.
Yeah, I think he's number 2. The only person that I used to have number 2, but now he just can't stay healthy right now. Joey B was my number 2. He's the only guy besides the GOAT to beat Mahomes. So, but Joe Burrow can't stay healthy. So that's kind of the problem that he has. But contrary to popular belief, it's really hard to win in this league. We saw something on what Brady did for 20 years in New England and then the couple of years in Tampa Bay. We're never going to see 20 years of dominance again, I don't think. And then now we just see Mahomes and Reed just doing this all over again right after Brady retires, which is really unheard of. So it's amazing that we have quarterbacks in this league like Josh Allen that are extremely talented. And don't worry, he has talent, but it's not like top tier talent. Like can you imagine Josh Allen with the talent that Jalen Hurts has in Philly?
I said this last night. I would put him on the Cleveland Browns. If you put him on the Cleveland Browns and take that idiot Deshaun Watson away from that team, you would have yourself something special.
Yeah.
You would have something special.
Look what Joe Flacco did with that Cleveland Brown team. So now you give Joe Flacco legs.
Yeah. And Josh Allen has one of the strongest arms ever. You give them receivers and that tight end, and Lord willing, Nick Chubbs comes back and ready to rock. They're going to be deadly, but unfortunately, they got the wrong person pulling the trigger in Deshaun Watson. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, look, I got to bring this up. Wasn't going to, but I have to. Is it time for them to pull the Russell Wilson on him at this point in time, real quick?
No.
I have a theory.
Go ahead.
After that performance week 1, literally the next day it came out that another allegation came out that was whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that was by accident. I think that was on purpose and leaked because it gives Cleveland the excuse to void that contract. Possibly.
Yeah. And my thing is this. Even if it was leaked, I'm just gonna go ahead and say you haven't did a damn thing to prove you deserve anything.
No.
I'm just gonna be real. You haven't proved you don't deserve a lollipop from the bank when you go deposit your money. I'm just gonna be real. So, I mean, because like I said on PSP's podcast last night, shout out to PSP. it's rare. It's rare as you know what to go from a good situation to a better situation. You went from the Houston Texans with Bill O'Brien making the playoffs, for some years, winning division titles, to an even better situation, even after all of these allegations that came out with you, even after all of that, somebody was willing to take a risk on you. And to BRF's point, shout out to BRF, he brought it up. Not only, it wasn't just the Cleveland Browns that was willing to take a risk. Our Atlanta Falcons was trying to go Carmelo and risk it all with him.
The deal was as good as done. $230 million is the only reason Deshaun Watson does not have a Falcons uniform on right now.
I just want to point out, and I've been saying this for years. When Cleveland made the trade for Deshaun Watson, let Baker go, I said it at the time, and I you can ask some of my friends. I thought it was the biggest mistake that Cleveland ever made. One, why would you give a guy that literally is coming off that many allegations that kind of money? Two, Baker Mayfield is one bad call away from taking Cleveland to the Super Bowl. If Njoku is literally, if that play gets, and the next year Baker was hurt most of the year. So that's part of the reason why he played terrible. You had momentum as a franchise, and now we look at what Baker did week one.
He went out to the west side. He went out there to the west side and got some legitimate coaching. And that's not to say that Kevin Stefanski isn't a good coach, but the thing is, he found someone willing to take the time in order to invest in Sean McVay. And if you really look at, he's not, and Sean McVay, that's not the only guy he was willing to, spend some time on. Look at what he did with Stetson Bennett, although he took a year off.
Yeah.
Look at how much time he's invested in Stetson Bennett. So the thing is, he had to go out there where the pressure wasn't really on him anymore and say, okay, now I have some legitimate coaching that's going to take some time with me. And plus, to Baker's credit, he hadn't had any stability in that organization.
No. And then he takes and now he's following the GOAT.
Yeah, he didn't have any stability in that organization.
Succeeding at it. Like, is this one of the biggest mistakes in NFL history?
I'll say no. I'll say the Ricky Williams trade argument was the biggest mistake in NFL history because they literally traded their whole draft and a first and a second the next year for Ricky Williams. The New Orleans Saints did.
And I'll add something else. Another reason why I don't think it's up there yet is because we didn't see this coming from Baker Mayfield. It'd be one thing if we kind of could have predicted this happening, but Baker Mayfield playing this high level of football, we really didn't.
He went we did. Mahomes in an
Okay. But even still, he was still very inconsistent. Even and I'm not even taking into account the injury. I mean, Carolina's Carolina. You're not going to do much of Carolina, but even still, like it took a Sean McVay to wake this up. It took a Sean McVay to wake this up, for him to work, to hone his craft as a quarterback, to really kind of see what he wasn't doing right and really kind of fix it. And even still, I mean, yeah, he's going to Tampa. Yeah, he's got weapons. We didn't see this level coming out of Baker Mayfield. So it's like, I don't want to. Is it a big mistake on Cleveland's part? Hindsight's 2020, of course. Yeah, we're gonna say that now, but I don't think we really saw this level of play getting ready to come out of Baker Mayfield. Not getting $140 million contract. I don't think we saw this. But I mean, I'm not saying. Go ahead.
Is Cleveland such a shitty organization that everybody just leaves and succeed? Remember, Andre Rison went there at the highest contract in NFL history for a wide receiver. He left there, went to Green Bay, gets the Super Bowl. Jeff Garcia coming off of a Pro Bowl season with coming off of some of his best players, San Francisco, goes to Cleveland and really can't get anything going, goes to the Tampa Bay Bucks, the same place that Baker Mayfield is at now, ends up making the Pro Bowl, taking them to the playoffs.
I'm here's the thing. You could argue that we couldn't see this coming from Baker, but that year that they almost went to the Super Bowl, like, dude was rocking. Like, that number 1 overall pick was being justified. And then 2, I could see your argument if Deshaun
he wasn't Baker was good, but he wasn't playing this good.
Okay, but I could see your argument if Deshaun Watson didn't have all those allegations. I think that's the biggest dumb thing. Is you give a guy, we didn't even know if he was going to play for a year or not. When
he was out for almost 2 years.
But you're still having to count on the fact that he's going to show up like this, though. Allegations or no allegations, you still have to count on the fact that he's going to show up.
You gave him guaranteed money, and he hadn't played for a year, and he didn't even know if he was going to play once you gave him the contract. And you had a guy, again, that was one bad call away from beating Patrick Mahomes.
Are we still talking about this now if Baker Mayfield's playing like this in Tampa? Is my point.
Yes, we are, because the thing is this.
Not from a two-way argument. We're only looking at it from Cleveland side. Because now we can look at it like you should have kept Baker. Now we can look at it like you should have kept Baker Mayfield. We weren't saying that before he went to Tampa and started lightening up. Now we can look at it from a two-sided argument.
Well, I was of the opinion they should have kept Baker originally, just because I really didn't even think Deshaun Watson was that great to begin with. I thought he was a guy that showed flashes, but
Deshaun Watson before the allegations was that deal. I don't agree with you there. Deshaun Watson, he was that deal before those allegations.
I disagree. I don't think he was bad. I don't think he was bad. Don't get me wrong. What his performance at Clemson against Alabama was insane. I'm not going to sit there and say not, but the way he was being talked about before the allegations was like, he's up like right behind, like second tier quarterback, and I never saw it.
Did you see his 2020 with absolutely no weapons at all?
Yeah, I did. But
he threw 34 touchdowns and 7 picks with no talent on that offense at all.
Bill O'Brien was his coach.
Where is that?
And Bill O'Brien was his play caller.
Okay, Bill O'Brien.
Come on, I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But then where is that guy?
I told you, the dude doesn't give a crap about football right now. I said this last night. He does not care about football. He don't. I said this. His mind is checked out. All this stuff these last couple of years, his mind's checked out. He don't care. I said it too. He don't care. And Champ said it too. He brought up a good point about his IG or his TikTok. He posts absolutely nothing about football. That dude's checked out. That man don't care right now.
But this is why, but this is why you don't give a dude that is coming off a bunch of allegations that kind of guaranteed money. That's the stupid part. That's the really, really dumb part of it. Like, he got the first guaranteed contract in NFL history.
Not only that, you got to think about this too. You have all of these allegations, number one. And number two, remember, he was shut down for an entire year.
Yeah. And we didn't even know he was going to play. Like, he could have been suspended.
So you've been sidelined almost 2 years. There was no, and not disagreeing with you, BRF, This is no knock on you. There was no evidence really that he was training. There was no strength and conditioning coach that everybody could go by and say, okay, how's his training going? Is he working with these guys or these guys or these guys? And like I said, if you go to his IG page, if you go to his TikTok page, if you go to any type of social media page, it's not a lot of football on there. You might see him on the bike and on the treadmill kind of half-assing, but you don't see him in there. When you see Aaron Donald, go look at Aaron Donald's page last year before he retires. He's always in the gym. Go look at James Harrison's page right now. This guy's been retired since I was 25 years old. James Harrison still trains his behind off like he's finna go play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all you see his peers do is working out, throwing the ball, hanging with their teammates. You don't see that on Deshaun Watson.
I do agree. You're right, BRF, when it comes to the two-way thing of Baker. If Baker phased out of the league after he was, in Carolina and LA or whatever, then I agree from that aspect. We're not making the same discussion. But I was baffled by the contract they gave him originally.
I was too. Don't get me wrong. I was shocked they gave him that kind of guarantee money. I didn't think they were going to give him that. Now don't get me wrong. I don't think they should have gave him that type of guarantee money, because I feel like it was the year he was out that really has proven to be his death warrant as far as being a serviceable quarterback in the National Football League. It's the year he missed. And it just feels to me like I kind of felt like, okay, he's got all this stuff hanging on him, but you would think getting an opportunity like that, getting this contract, you would think he would be grateful for it and actually put his all into doing this and showing Cleveland, I'm going to show you why you gave me this money. Okay, yeah, I've been out, but hey, go back to what I did with 2020 with fewer weapons of what I'm going to have at Cleveland. I'm going to show you what I'm about. And the fact that like I said, this downfall, we want to talk about the downfall, studying the downfall of college teams like Florida State and whatnot. Deshaun Watson's downfall needs to be studied, straight up. This is ridiculous.
But not only that, to piggyback on you, BRF, I think we still be talking about it even if Baker doesn't pan out, because look what the Texans have become.
We would talk about yes, we would. I think that I agree with you. We would talk about it from the
because
we would talk about it. Yeah, exactly. I think we need to be talking about it from the Houston perspective just as much as from the Baker Mayfield perspective, because like you said, champ, look at what Houston is turning themselves into a Super Bowl contender with basically the draft capital they got from this. CJ Stroud, a Tank Dell, a Will Anderson, the pieces that they turn this into out of these drafts. This team is one of the scariest teams in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part that's I remember when all the allegations were going and he was still in Houston. I was like, how is Houston going to get out of this? And there's always one idiot. There's always one idiot, and it just happened to be. This is why bad franchises are you're just consistently a bad franchise. I could understand, I guess, moving on from Baker Mayfield after that last year he had in Cleveland. Fine, there were reports that he was immature and wasn't good and all that kind of stuff. Going on. But I'm. Oh, I see it. Okay. Did he stay in?
Did he? Did he stay in?
Which game are you watching?
That's fine. Is that Travis Etienne's little brother?
Yeah. Damn.
He stepped out?
He stepped out.
He stepped out. Okay.
He stepped out. This is just an update, ladies and gentlemen, from the Georgia Bulldogs and Kentucky Wildcats game.
I'm
behind y'all. I'm seeing the play now. I'm behind y'all. Okay.
Yeah, I was behind you earlier in the show. So
I'm still just I'm just baffled. I mean, the guy hasn't played a full season since 2020. I mean, I don't know. If they can get out of that contract, I'd get away from him as fast as possible.
Hey, in the great words of Kanye West, run away fast as you can, especially from that dude. I would say.
But I'll throw this point on there, and then if y'all want to move on, that's cool. But this is what I'll say: even though he has not earned any reason for them to believe in him as a starting quarterback, once you pull that trigger and you put Jameis Winston behind center, you better do something with Deshaun Watson because you can't bring him back. Once you pull that trigger, that's it. You have to find a way to end it.
Yes, you do.
Yes, absolutely.
And like I said, that's why I posed a question to you, intelligent gentlemen. Should they pull the Russell Wilson on him and say, you know what, the hell with all this? You ain't finna cost me no more money and no more PR.
The reason I think what's messing him up now is that there's that new allegation that's coming out. Because me personally, I wouldn't do it yet. But that new allegation coming out, now you have to really consider it.
I don't think that was a mistake. I think that's too.
I don't think so either, man. I'm with you, Flash. I don't think so either.
As soon as I saw that, I went like, that's the start now, because now I think Cleveland's legal team is like, all right, is this enough to?
Yeah. They're about to go to work. They about to start earning that paycheck.
Yep.
And
get in there.
Yes, touchdown. Got him. Woo. Hey, can you update the fans in the people of TV land on the Colorado game, Flash?
Yeah, Colorado's up 28-3. Shedeur Sanders is 32 of 42 for 279 and 4 touchdowns. And Travis Hunter, my Heisman pick, 12 receptions for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he has an interception on defense.
Damn. Travis Hunter's the best player in college football. Flash, I'm on the bandwagon. I'm with you, bro. Travis Hunter's the best player in college football, regardless of skill position.
I have the receipt saying that was my Heisman pick. That's
yes, you do.
And I'm telling you that as long as Colorado has a
decent,
above average football season, he is the Heisman Trophy winner. And the only competition I see for him right now is Ward out of Miami.
Cam Ward down there slinging
Cam
that
Ward
thing.
out of Miami. Those are the
or I'll throw Dylan Gabriel's name in there because Oregon's going to chunk the Oregon's going to chunk the rock. You got to put Dylan Gabriel in there too.
Yeah, that's true. But I think if my two front runners are Cam Ward right now and Travis Hunter's my guy. That was my guy from the pick from the start. I'll
say this one more thing too. If Travis Hunter puts up something like 80 receptions for like 1,100 and hits double-digit touchdowns, and then this boy turns around and puts up like 100 tackles with like 5 or 6 interceptions from the defensive side of the ball, and let's say Colorado gets like the 7-8 wins, how do you not give him the Heisman?
Yeah,
Travis Hunter.
Yes. How do you not give it to him?
That's my point. That's been my point. Like, as long as Colorado is a above average football team, and he keeps putting up numbers like he's doing tonight, because their schedule isn't that hard either. By the way, like they don't have a lot of powerhouses on their schedule this year. Like I said it last week. It's his to lose if they have an above average season.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be playing all the snaps. He's going to be getting the opportunities.
Yep. And as good as Shedeur Sanders is playing, Travis Hunter's the best, just like you said, and it's what I said before the season started. He is the best college football player, bar none, period, regardless of position.
Yes, indeed. Let's go back to the NFL. As we all know, Run CMC is out for the next couple weeks because he's been put on IR with tendonitis in his knee. But 4 weeks. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you.
IR guarantees he's out the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, because Thank you, BRF, because I sure as hell blotched that. But
No, bro. We brothers in arms, boy. That's what we do.
so, but they have another another good running back in Mason from Georgia Tech, and he did this thing thus far in that zone blocking scheme. Like I said, that zone blocking scheme makes average running backs great and makes great running backs in the Hall of Famer. So my question to y'all, with the emergence of this new running back in Mason, are the 49ers the deepest team in the NFL right now at every position?
I think you can definitely make a good case. I definitely think I think they're definitely up there, because I think you're looking at them, you're looking at Kansas City, and honestly, right now, it's probably it as far as deepest teams right now. I think that's who you go with.
Philly,
as far as deepest. Yeah. As far as depth, you got to go. You got to put Philly up there too. Yeah.
I think a team that has underrated depth right now, it's not looked at it that way. And maybe I'm being a little bit of a homer, but I think Green Bay has phenomenal depth. They're just really young. Not on the depth level of San Francisco, just because they are so young. But I think Green Bay's depth right now, their defense, though, didn't perform well at all week one. So I kind of want to see what the defense performs like this coming week. But I think San Francisco, I think they've been that way for the past, 3 to 4 years. They've been the deepest team.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
So I which is kind of the reason why everybody's like, mildly putting Kyle Shanahan in the Marty Schottenheimer like role right now. And why haven't you won a ring? But I don't think it's even a question. I think you could have made an argument like 3 years ago for Buffalo. Buffalo had a really deep team on offense and defense about 3 years ago. That was a really deep squad. But other than that, I think San Francisco's been the most talented team consistently. There's a Philly team in there the last couple of years too that was like right up there, but it's been pretty much Philly and San Francisco on the most talented teams that walk onto a field.
Yep. Can't argue with that right there.
I just got to say, on a side note, if you don't mind, I'm watching UFC 306. Dude, the scene from the Sphere is kind of dope. It's pretty cool. So when you guys have a chance to check out highlights or whatever, it's pretty slick. I got to admit. Vegas
and that's why we call it lot. That's why I'm glad that y'all are covered and we're covering everything at this point.
Well, that honestly, I think it was really cool. Like when NXT did I think when NXT did the Battleground show there, like that was like, being in that building. It was different, but it was a pretty neat experience.
I remember when that thing first opened and I saw highlights of U2 playing, and I'm like, oh, that's different. I need to go see that. I need to experience that. And now they're going to have sporting events and stuff like that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go. Yeah.
It's exciting to see. So let's make our picks for the upcoming NFL game. Right now, we have Kentucky and Georgia, 13-9, and the ball is on the 45, going into Georgia territory right now. So, hey, fingers crossed at this point. So let's get to these NFL picks at this point, man. Oh, by the way, man, before we move on, man, hell of a going into college right about now. Speaking of college, hell of a coming out party for Arch Manning, man.
I said it earlier in the show.
Yeah, hell of a coming out party for Arch Manning, because that was hellified. A lot of people are saying that he's overrated and stuff like that, but I'm like, you know what? Pump your brakes. That's still a Manning. So, hell of a job, Arch. So,
well, go ahead. I mean, they were saying out of high school he was a better prospect than both Eli or Peyton.
Yeah,
because he could run. And
he fast as hell.
Yeah. So I and everybody he got on there as a freshman. And everybody was like, and he was like kind of short balls. And everybody was like, what?
I'm sorry, y'all. I just I saw quick. I got a boy. John Jones is gonna fight Stipe Miocic at UFC 309.
Yep.
Ooh.
That was announced earlier today.
He fight Stipe finally?
Huh?
He fighting Stipe finally?
Yep.
John Jones is fighting Stipe at 309.
Yep.
Ooh. Definitely have to do some things on that. Definitely have to do some things.
Watch party?
Let's look into it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'll try and do it because I might have a party at the house. So, but definitely we should think about doing a watch party or something.
That's one UFC event I cannot miss. I can't miss that one.
I cannot miss that one either. So let's get into these NFL picks, man. The Aints versus the Cowboys. Who y'all taking?
Dallas.
I just want to say New Orleans played a lot better than everybody thought they were going to play last week. Derek Carr showed out. But I'm still going to pick Dallas. And I want to say something that I was completely wrong about Dallas last year. I thought they were going to be dead men walking. I was wrong. So everybody got paid. Well, no, we still got to get Micah paid. But, Dallas is Dallas. They're going to look great in the regular season. They just are. That's what they do. So I'm going to go Dallas.
Shout out to Mom. Mom's a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm going with Dallas. This is the most times I picked Dallas in any year I have been covering the NFL, by the way.
Hey, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Starting next week, should we keep track of our picks and see who comes out ahead at the end of the year?
That is a fantastic idea.
That is a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea.
Okay.
So, but Ravens versus the Raiders.
Ravens.
I think they smoke them. I think
that should be a stomp.
Yeah. In the great words, I hear him talking, but they're about to get stomped. In the great words of Young Buck. So,
I think everybody overrates Gardner Minshew. I think he's got more of a Ryan Fitzpatrick, like Fitzmagic vibe to him that he hasn't earned. Like, I think he's a competent backup quarterback, but I just they need a quarterback. They just need a quarterback. That's their big thing.
I'm just waiting on the trade deadline to see where Devontae Adams is going to go.
Basically.
You think he's gone?
I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
Where do you think he goes? Is it the Jets?
No.
They would be my first choice. And I think the Jets would have they have the capital to swing it. So the Jets would be my first choice. And I'm trying to think of a sleeper for him. Champ, don't kill me, champ. Don't kill me, champ. I think Atlanta could swing. I think Atlanta could swing it.
Atlanta, if you watch it, make that trade.
I think Atlanta could swing it. And I think the Jets would be like everybody's pick for him, but I think Atlanta could swing it.
Hey, don't discount the Chargers either.
The teams with the most draft capital for next year, the top 5 are Carolina with 10 picks, Philly with 9, the Jets with 9, Jaguars with 9, and the Patriots with 8.
The Patriots will be a dark horse, but my thing is like with them developing a quarterback, I don't know if he'd want to go to New England.
Yeah.
No. You got the Bears too. They have 8. Chargers have a lot of draft capital. The Bills got 8 picks.
Ooh, that's a good sleeper right there. Ooh, that'd be a good sleeper.
Yeah. Here's my deep sleeper. Denver. It's in the division, but which is the only thing that makes me balk at it. But getting Devontae Adams for Bo Nix, maybe I'm overthinking it too much.
I think at this stage at Devontae Adams' career, you're looking at him going somewhere with a proven quarterback. So you're looking at like a Buffalo. I guess if you want to throw the Jets in there, who else? For me, Atlanta is just like a homer kind of dream kind of pick. I really don't think it's realistic. But yeah, I would say it would have to be like a team with like a proven winner at quarterback. Lord forbid, don't let Kansas City get a hold of him.
I don't think they need him, but
Kansas City's the type of franchise they're greedy when it comes to receivers and talent like that. They'll go get them.
Yeah.
they'll try.
Mm-hmm.
And plus with the news coming out that Marquise Brown is probably not playing this year.
Hey,
that makes my offensive rookie of the year pick look even better. So,
oh yeah, because he jumps in and becomes the number 2 receiver to where he's gonna get the run more routes and see more targets. Yeah, looking pretty good.
All right,
I'm looking at the teams where I think he could go, and I think Buffalo is one of them. I think that's the big sneaky one is Buffalo.
I think so too.
Maybe Chicago. Those are the two. Just because you could give no, maybe not. Yeah, I like the Buffalo one. That's probably my big one. It'd be Buffalo. I think that's the big.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah, because everybody's gonna say Jets. I feel like Buffalo's that one team that could sneak and get him.
Yeah.
Next game, Browns versus Jaguars. The battles of the overrated.
Oh, I said this on the show last night. Oh, don't make me regret this. I am picking Cleveland to beat Jacksonville. Oh, don't make me regret this.
I'm going with Jacksonville at home.
Deshaun Watson, while you out there at the sea smoking cigars, you better play tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to pick you. But guess what? You better play tomorrow. Because guess what?
I'm telling
you got one more bad game before something else get leaked. And then your ass is up out of there. They're going to make you leave early like Byron Scott.
I'm telling you.
So, yeah. Because you best believe he has another bad game tomorrow. Something else going to get leaked. And then they're going to find probable cause in order to get around. Yeah.
Then, because then the smear campaign starts. That's how it slowly happens.
Yeah. Jets versus the Titans.
I think they both stink. I was a lot higher on Tennessee, and man, I'll go with Tennessee just because it's at home. That's it, and I'm hoping that Will Levis thinks so poorly of himself after last week that he comes back and bounces back. But I'm going to go with Tennessee. I don't feel good about it, but that's my pick.
I think the Jets, for me, do have more talent on both sides of the ball. I'm picking the Jets because even though Aaron Rodgers didn't have the greatest of games, he did kind of show a few flashes in that game. Some of those throws he was making, and Tennessee doesn't exactly have a secondary that scares you. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pick the Jets.
All right. Yes. The 49er game versus the Vikings, excuse me.
49ers.
Is the board unanimous?
Yeah, 49ers.
The San Diego Chargers versus the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Carolina Panthers.
Chargers.
I
think it's a big possibility that Carolina doesn't even win a game this year.
Damn.
I think
they're bad. And they're bad. And they're bad. And then you add to the fact that Derrick Brown's now out for the season too. So the best defensive players now gone. Oh yeah, this could get ugly.
Yeah. Speaking of ugly, the battle of the super uglies. The Giants versus the Commanders.
I'm going. Go ahead, Flash.
I'm going Washington.
Me too.
Me too. I know Washington. You know, they were my hot take. They're going to finish second in that division, which kind of looks kind of dumb right now because Dallas looked really great. But I don't. There were signs. Jane Daniels looked like there's something there. There's something. I think they're going to give the ball to Austin Eckler a lot more, which they should. But one reason, because I think he showed that he was the best back out of what they got.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, he's on my fantasy team. So I had to have a little bit of mild, but I think I do think that there's something there. I think I saw enough where it's like, I think they're going to be a competitive football team this year. I know Tampa Bay played out of their minds, but I'm confidently Washington.
Okay.
I'll say this though. Malik Neighbors looks like he might be the real deal. So Washington better keep a hat on him at all times. But with that being said, yeah, I think Washington, I'll put it to you this way. Washington likes their quarterback a hell of a lot more than the Giants like theirs. So I'm picking Washington.
Yeah.
All right. The Patriots, your guys, versus the Seahawks.
I got the Patriots.
I want to pick my boys, but I'm going to go Seattle on this one. But it's going to be a real tough game.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to pick the Patriots, and Seattle's not going to have Kenneth Walker for this game. But I mean, Zach Charbonnet is a good back, but Zach Charbonnet is going to be starting this game because I think they're not going to have Kenneth Walker. And just I don't know. I feel like the Patriots kind of they have a little confidence playing defense, particularly against a team that can be explosive like Cincinnati. And Christian Gonzalez, my gosh. That boy is special. He is special.
Yes, he is. He is. I just think I think Seattle will be able to, even though I like New England's defense, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are notorious for starting slow in the beginning of the season, even before the injury. So I think the benchmark for points against New England where you're safe is if you can score more than 20 in a game, you should beat them. And I think Seattle could put up 20.
Okay. BRF, you got anything you want to add? Flash
definitely make a good point right there. I think that's where Seattle can get them if they make this if they can kind of put some points on the board and kind of make it a shootout. Because I don't think New England has the offense to go blow for blow with them. But my thing is I don't think Seattle has the defense to go blow for blow with New England. So I think this is where I think New England can get them. This is why I'm picking New England. I think New England makes this a defensive battle, and I think New England can get them.
Fair enough. I hope you're right.
Yeah, because like I said, they got a healthy Ramondre Stevenson, and a healthy Ramondre Stevenson is a really, really good back. If they make this about running game and defense, I think New England can get them. That's why I'm picking them because I think they're gonna dictate the pace of this game, especially with it being. And I think it's a home game for New England too. They're gonna dictate the pace for this.
It is. Yeah, All right. Yeah, like I said, I hope you're right.
We got a playoff rematch this Sunday. Baker and the Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Detroit Lions.
Ugh.
I'll let
I'm
y'all
gonna
take
go. I'm gonna go Detroit. As good as Tampa Bay looked last week, Detroit looks legit.
I'm picking Detroit because their offense is now even scarier. Because if Jamison Williams is going to look like this, their
Yeah.
offense is even scarier. And I said this for Detroit. I felt like my X factor was Jamison Williams because if he's 100%, Jamison Williams is the real deal. So now you add him with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta, and arguably the best running back duo in the league, and David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. That offense is even more scary if Jamison Williams is the real deal. And he surely looked like the real deal in that game one. But I do think it's going to be a shootout, though, just like it was in that playoff game, because I do think both offenses are going to show up.
I love the team that they've built in Detroit, and the reason why I love it is they can score enough points, and then basically because of their running game and Montgomery and Gibbs, but a lot. It seems like from what what they're going to do game plan wise, get ahead and then let Montgomery run out the clock, use that offense, do basically the 4 to 5 minute, we're just going to pound the crap out of you and end this game, and so I love that team that they built in Detroit, and I'm going to go with Detroit, even though I'm going to be rooting for Tampa. But Detroit's dude.
One of my favorite pass rushers to watch play in the National Football League with a lead is Aiden Hutchinson, straight up.
Yeah. I will say they have 3 of my favorite players in the league right now in this game alone. So my favorite defensive player right now, and has been for the last couple of years, is Antoine Winfield Jr. I love him in Tampa. He's one of my favorite players, has been. I was dying for Green Bay to sign him this offseason, even though I knew Tampa was never going to let him go.
You know what I just thought about too? He's not playing in this game. He's hurt.
Oh, really?
I think Tampa secondary. I keep track of I don't play the fantasy stuff like I used to, but I keep track of the news and all the stuff like that because I keep track. I think they might be down Antoine Winfield and Zion McMillan for this game as far as Tampa secondary. So that definitely doesn't bode well.
Yeah, he is out at least 2 weeks. Oh, But my other 2 favorite players are Aiden Hutchinson and then Sam Laporta. I can't believe 2 of my favorite players are on the Detroit Lions. That's saying something. I'm a Packer fan, but I don't hate seeing this team good. It's not like seeing the Bears good or the Vikings good where you're just ugh. But seeing Detroit, after being so bad for so long, slowly start to change the culture around that football team and that franchise, it's kind of cool to see. And especially with a guy like Jared Goff at quarterback that was just cast off, bravo. Bravo, Dan Campbell. Bravo, that front office. Bravo for turning that whole franchise around. One of the laughing stocks of professional sports in general. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Detroit in a close game, though.
I'm going to go with Detroit. I think they control the line of scrimmage all game with that 2-back system. Here's an interesting one. Green Bay versus the Colts. And keep in mind that Jordan Love is out.
Yes, he is. I will be there live. Man. I'm going to go Indy.
Yeah. I'm picking Indy too. Just Malik Willis is just
Stinks.
he's not a good NFL quarterback. Like you just swung the pendulum in the Indianapolis Colts favor the minute Jordan Love got hurt. So yeah, I'm picking the Colts.
Me too.
Go ahead.
I just gonna say the only way that Green Bay can I put it this way, I would have been a little bit more comfortable picking Green Bay if their defense would have shown any kind of backbone last week, and they didn't. Because I think you could run off of run off your running game, although Jacobs is questionable now. You could have done a lot of RPOs and just gone off your running game with Malik Willis, but now I don't see where the points come from. I'm going to Indy.
Yep. I go Indy as well, and we will go from there. Let's see what we have. Here's an interesting one. After his controversial comments about it not being his job to try to force the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr., he's up under fire again. So who is going to be Kyler, I don't watch film, Murray versus the St. Louis Rams? Who you have?
Picking the Rams.
Here's something to watch before we move on. Be on the lookout. If Tua's not able to play anymore, be on the lookout for Miami giving up some draft capital in order to get Kyler Murray. So be on the lookout for that. Don't you heard it here first, because I think that they might be trying to get rid of him pretty soon, the way he's going. But don't be surprised. I mean, because Kyler Murray, he's not media savvy. He's not media trained. It's a disaster. Plus, they're paying him all this money. He is a flat out disaster. So, hey, look. If Tua can no longer play anymore, look at the Miami Dolphins to try to make a trade for Kyler Murray, because I don't think any other team would be willing to get up their star quarterback but them. So
he's an idiot.
He really is.
I was trying
that comment really ticked me off, especially after the way I defended him. That comment ticked me off.
You know what? Can you at least let me be politically correct just one time?
No.
No. Because I was trying to be mild about it, but
I know. I was just so flabbergasted by that comment. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna include Marvin Harrison Jr. on this too. Why are you both going to the media with this crap? Handle this crap indoors. This is lack of leadership in the locker room. And as a former football coach, this kind of crap drives me nuts. Because I'll tell you right now, if I was a football coach for the Arizona Cardinals, I'd have pulled them both into my office and reamed them a new one. And go, the next one of you that does something stupid, like go to the media about crap like this, I don't know what like fine or whatever. But
to Marvin Harrison Jr.'s credit, he said himself, he's like, yeah, I got to do a better job of getting open, getting separation, so he can do. He handled it as a veteran, whereas Kyler Murray, he always act like a little pouty little child, and that's what drives me.
It's never his fault, and I thought he got past that, but then he did it again, and I'm just like, thank you for making me look stupid for defending him.
You're right about Marvin Harrison. Like I just like, as a New England like Packer fan, you don't see that stuff get aired out in the you
don't air that out in the media. It's like you gotta do something. You gotta, as a league, look. I don't blame Marvin Harrison Jr. He said everything the right way. He has to get open. He has to do a better job. Kyler, you've already been up under the microscope for, not watching film, being immature, getting Cliff Kingsbury fired. When does it stop with you? I mean, when does it stop?
I mean, all you got to do is just say, hey, it's none of, you can literally just stand up and say it's none of your business. Like, and just like, I'm going to play quarterback and you can just sit there, just say the generic stupid crap that Brady did for years. I'm just going to do what's best for the football team and like blah, blah, blah. You know, the same garbage crap, and you just let it go. And it's just like, I don't know.
I mean, come on. It's like it just never stops. It's like, you don't see no. And the thing is, you don't see none of the other guys that Lincoln Riley coached do that except him. You don't see this crap. Even with Caleb Williams, you don't see this from Caleb Williams. You don't see this from Jalen Hurts. You didn't see it from Baker Mayfield. No. You didn't see it from none of those guys. This guy's the only guy you see it from. And he's by far the least popular.
Yeah, and this is why I don't understand why like someone like Caleb Williams gets the crap he does. Because I just go like, that kid says the right thing all the time. Like even after the win in Tennessee, he was like, I mean, for the most part, he was just like, he said it without saying, he's like, I sucked. This is not exactly how I wanted my debut to go, but we got the win, blah, 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 blah. Credit to our defense, yada, yada, yada. It's just like, dude, like, I don't know. I was of the opinion that Kyler Murray was like the most underrated and overrated guy in the league, just depending on who you talk to.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe he would turn a corner too, but geez Louise, man. Like, is it because
my thing was seeing reports and seeing what everybody was saying about him, like he had turned over a new leaf, like he was finally starting to get it, like he was finally understanding it. And somebody needs to remind him Marvin Harrison Jr. was drafted for you to force feed hit to. Marvin Harrison is the type of talent at wide receiver you force feed it to. Not, kind of in like that, like with the, like the Falcons taking a Julio Jones or Cincinnati taking an AJ Green back then. They are drafted for you to force feed.
Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson with Detroit. They are drafted. They are drafted for you to force feed, whether you want to or not. Those are the type of guys you go to in 50-50 ball situations. You force feed them because when all else fails, I can throw it up and they'll go get it. That's what you drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. for.
Yeah. Is this because he's 5'3" and the size of a toddler? Is that the problem here? And that he just
Kyler, but that's no excuse because Kyler Murray has one of the better arms in the league when he's on his game. That's no excuse. Dude was not using his brain at all, saying what he said.
Where's the attitude come from? Like, where's this? Like,
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. Is it because he was a dual sport athlete in college and he's just got this kind of ego? I mean, I don't know what else it could be.
I don't know. The two things that always scare the crap out of me when it comes to like players in general coming out of college is if I hear that you don't watch film and you're lazy or you overeat. Those are my two big red flags there because that's your job. That's what that's literally, you are paid to watch film and you are paid to keep your body in shape because you are an athlete. And if you already have that red flag of either or, it's like the Eddie Lacy. It's like when the Packers drafted Eddie Lacy. Like I remember sitting at the work lunch table going like, I like Eddie Lacy, but what scares me is that he's got a weight problem, and that always gives me the red flag. It just, to me, it does. And the same thing with like film study is it's the same thing when they drafted when Cleveland drafted Johnny Manziel. There was rumors that he wasn't watching film and that he was just whatever. And that's if you're not watching film at all, then that's a problem. And I thought Kyler maybe turned the page, but I guess not.
Yeah. Moving forward, the Steelers versus the Broncos. Justin Fields a start.
I'm picking Pittsburgh. I mean, Lord, I think Arthur Smith is just going to continue to do with Justin Fields what he did with Atlanta, and that's basically not necessarily put the game on his shoulders, like allowing him to control and manage the game, rely on the running game, rely on that defense, and just try to win a low scoring game. I got Pittsburgh.
Flash.
It's in Denver. I'm going to go Denver in a close one.
Right.
I think Denver puts up enough points, and I think because I just think Justin Fields stinks. I know Pittsburgh's defense is really good, but I think Denver gets they get one at home. I don't like Pittsburgh's running game. I've never been a Najee Harris guy. His yards per carry has always been terrible. And then Jalen Warren, he's all right, but I don't see enough. I just don't see enough. I think Denver can put up enough points.
Okay. Here's an interesting one: the Bengals versus the Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Okay. Is the board unanimous?
I would think about picking Cincinnati, but they still haven't figured out Jamar Chase's contract yet. And T. Higgins is whatever. Like they can't. Their wide receiver room is a mess right now.
Yeah.
Big mess.
And they start again. Joey B in Cincinnati always starts notoriously slow. Although, Joey B is the only one that's stepped up to the plate when it comes to Mahomes.
Right.
And honestly, that's another like that last AFC title game between the two of them. Again, the refs kind of helped Kansas City. And I'm not a big the refs help Kansas City all the time guy, but that game was. I think this is going to be a little closer than people think. I think Joey B is going to show up. I think the challenge of Mahomes being there. I think we could see, but I think Kansas City wins. I do. I think Kansas City. I just think it's Kansas City's year again. I think we're going to see the first three-peat since the 60s Packers.
Okay. Here's another interesting one: the battle of the futures. The Bears versus the Texans. NBC late night, Sunday night football.
Yeah, I got Houston here. I got
Same.
Houston here. I think this. Even though I've been touting the Chicago Bears defense, and I do think they are legit on defense. You about to go into Houston. You about to go into CJ Stroud's house, and I think he might be ready to put up a statement. Type of performance. So I got Houston here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think and or hope that Caleb Williams plays a little better in the Bears offense in general. Plays a little bit better. In fact, I'm betting I'm going to see a little bit more out of them. So that's kind of my thought process. But I do think that Houston wins. More mature football team, more complete football team at this point. So and it's at home.
Okay. Monday night football: the Dirty Birds versus the Fly Eagles Fly. Who you take?
As much as I hate picking against my boys, I think it's 0-2. I think this is what I'll say though. For the Falcons to win this game, I mean, they've been showing clips of Kirk Cousins moving in even though it's on their own terms and they're kind of controlling their environment. Kirk Cousins is moving around. He's running. He is, they're showing him, running, making plays on his feet or whatnot. And I mean, Philly doesn't necessarily have I don't know. They have good defensive players in the front seven, but the pass rush is not it's not as consistent as it's been in years past. But I don't know. The key for a Falcons win is Bijan Robinson is clearly starting to really stand out and become the best offensive player we have. So he's got to really, really have a good game for the Falcons to win, and Kyle Pitts as well. I think Atlanta did a horrible job of getting their offensive playmakers the ball, not named Bijan Robinson. Like Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Drake London, they all have to. I feel like they all need to get at least 6 to 8 targets in this game for Atlanta to really have a chance to win this game because then you're opening up the offense for Bijan and Tyler Algier to do their thing out of the backfield. Because I think their duo is right up there with the best duos in the league. But I just think Philly, the way AJ Terrell looked in game 1 against George Pickens gives me pause for cause. Because now you about to go up against either AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, who are both better than George Pickens. So yeah, as much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna pick Philly in this one. But I'm starting to think that it might be. I'm thinking that this, even though the offense didn't give you the most confidence, this might be a bigger shootout than people are gonna give it credit for. I think the Falcons do show up and put some points on the board, but I got Philly at home.
Okay.
I'm going with Philly too. I did want to ask your guys' opinion on your team on what happened on Sunday last week.
The offensive play, the play calling was horrible. It boils down to Zach Robinson did a horrible job of play calling and not adjusting to doubling. You have TJ Watt on the other field. Why aren't you doubling him every game? Caleb McGarry is a far better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. I would have had Chip help on him with him at all times. TJ Watt ate his breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. He destroyed him. But that's on Zach Robinson. Horrible first game of play calling. Horrible, and not getting your receivers the ball. Like, what are we doing? Drake London should have done work against Pittsburgh's corners. Like, just nah. He's got to do a better job getting Drake London the ball.
Do you think this is a portent of things to come, or is this just a anomaly?
I think they're going to look. They're still my pick to win the division. So obviously, I think it's an anomaly. I still think they're going to win the division, but I do think they need to figure it out soon because Tampa.
I was just about to say, dude, if Tampa goes 2-0, Atlanta goes 0-2.
It's gonna get uglier than the masterpiece sneakers.
Get real ugly real quick. And dude, and not even that, but what if New Orleans squeaks out a win against Dallas? I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
My only thing is on paper, Tampa and my thing is on paper when you look at all three of those teams, I still feel like they're kind of equal. Like, I don't think neither team really stands out amongst the bunch. And like you saw it last year. I mean, Atlanta went to Tampa and beat Tampa with Desmond freaking Ritter. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
I do have a question. One more when it comes to Atlanta. Let's say they do go 0-2 and the offense stinks it up again. How long before the calls to play Penix?
They will start after Philly if the offense still looks bad. I know how Atlanta fans think. They will call for Michael Penix if this offense is still stinking up the joint. I know how Falcons fans think. They will want Michael Penix in.
What do you guys? How would you do it? Want to feel?
You pay Kirk Cousins $180. You pay Kirk Cousins too much money to sit him after 2 games. You just got to roll. You got to ride the ship out.
I mean, hey, you start 0-3, bro. It's time to start paying Penix, man. 0-3 after the Kansas City Chiefs, especially if you don't generate any offense, you got to consider Penix, man.
You have to the only way you consider it is how the other teams are playing. This is still the NFC South, and 0-3 in the NFC South is not a death sentence.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man. Look, we had another segment, but I'm trying to finish out this Georgia Bulldogs game real quick and see how this is going to go. How's the Colorado game going, guys?
It's over. Colorado, their first road win since early last year, I think. Or it might have been Deion's first road win in general. I didn't quite see the stat, but, good showing. Like, you took care of an in-state rival which is something that you should have done. Again, my Heisman pick looked fan-freaking-tastic. So I'm Shedeur Sanders for, if he's actually in the Heisman discussion, which he did 36 to 49 for 310 and 4 touchdowns. So yeah, good for Colorado. It's a good win. They get out of there's not a lot of talk this week of like, does Deion stink, blah, blah, blah this week. So that's good for them.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, look, hell of a show tonight, man. We're going to stick with it until the Georgia Bulldogs game goes off. We had another subject, but we're kind of running out of time. And, hey, I got an early morning in the morning. And so, yeah, but we spent a lot of time on the NFL, but we covered every basis that we need to. Let's see how Kentucky and Georgia is going to pan out. Then we'll end the show. Is that all right with y'all?
Yeah, in case people are watching it or not watching it, live update now. Looking like 18 seconds to go, 4th down. They're trying to decide if they want to run a play or kick a field goal. They got the offense out there still.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, this is
trying to get him to jump off sides.
Trying to get him to jump offside.
I think that's what they're trying to do here at this point. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, they finna kick that field goal.
It's a long field goal.
I don't know. They in the shotgun.
Oh no, they're gonna punt it.
Even the punt? What the hell?
Yeah, dude, they're at like the 40 something. They ain't gonna kick a field goal.
Okay, nah. I think it's too. I think it's too long a field goal attempt here at this point for their kicker. They're gonna punt it.
All you do is you literally try and kick it out of the back of the end zone.
Let's see what Georgia
or with 17 seconds, you try to kick the friggin' ball as high as you possibly can and waste as much time as you can off the clock.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's a nice kick.
That's even better.
Oh, so y'all are ahead of me. Dang it.
All right.
Yeah. Boy, you talk about by the skin of your teeth, bro. We got a lot of soul searching to do before we play Alabama, bro. So, yeah,
I know we were going to bring up like the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing and whatever. I know, BR, if you had some comments you wanted to say about that. You want to save that for next week then?
Yeah, we can say that for next week.
We can save it because, man, yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, bro. I want to I haven't had a chance to really unleash on any topic, but I really want to unleash on that topic because of some of the. I really want to unleash on that topic, like straight up.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Let's see what we got. We got 10 seconds. Come on, Georgia. Do not let them get anywhere near field goal range.
We don't need an Auburn, Alabama moment here.
I mean, they're gonna need more than that.
Don't change it up. Just do what you do. Don't change up nothing. Kentucky's offensive line, even though they've been able to run the ball, when you pass rush them, you've been eating them up. Just do what you do. Don't change.
I wish I
because I mean it's, let's see, 9 seconds. 1 sack is over.
Well, then Kentucky doesn't have any timeouts yet. Later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is basically make a play right here.
Miracle, like
one tackle in bounds and the game's over. One tackle out of bounds, they don't get a first down, game's over.
He got him. Ha ha! Yeah. We got him.
Wait a minute. Hold up. They got the first down. The clock stops, doesn't it? There's one.
It doesn't matter. Once the ball is reset, it's done.
But they get
the first down. They get the first down, but the clock resets when they set the ball.
Yep. So you just got to snap it within 2 seconds. So there's another play. Oh, Georgia called timeout. How do you call timeout? Oh,
What is wrong with these referees?
oh, they're checking to see how much time should be left on the clock.
Okay.
6.
I'm about to say he hit with 2 seconds.
It's 3.
1, 2. That's 3, right?
Yeah. So they should have 3 seconds. Dude, can you imagine some? Oh. I wouldn't want to talk to you guys for like a whole week. I'd be scared too.
Georgia, look, Georgia gives us hope in the city, in the state of Georgia. They give us a lot of hope.
I know.
Them and the Braves.
Hey,
It's some
let me
crazy
tell you something. I said the Atlanta Braves could go on one of these September, October runs if they just put it together. They have destroyed the Los Angeles Dodgers the first 2 games of this series. Destroyed. I mean, what? 15-3 combined run total the first 3 games. Destroyed.
Yeah.
Yep. We have beaten them. Only team we have problem with is the Phillies for some reason. So
it's because Philadelphia. The reason why teams like Philly and Houston and teams like that do better every offseason is because their pitching staff have the ability to force swings and misses. That's why Philly was able to beat the Braves the last 2 years in the postseason. Their pitchers get swings and misses.
it's over.
The whiff rate's ridiculous.
Man. But hey, man, that concludes the show today. Go Dogs, man. Let the people know where to follow y'all at, man.
Go ahead, BRF.
As always, BRF Sports is the TikTok handle. The link tree is at the bio. You'll find my IG. You find my Twitter/X. You find my Facebook page. And like I made this announcement on PSP, I'll make the announcement here. This past Tuesday, I am on a new wrestling podcast. Shout out to Spiral Sports Media, the homie Elijah, my homie J, and the other homie JD. It's called The Throwdown. Every Tuesday night, it's a wrestling podcast. We did our first edition this past Tuesday. We talked about Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline, and we also ranked some of the better title reigns of 2024. It's a really good watch. Y'all need to go check that out. I had a blast doing that show. Not sure what the topics are going to be this coming up Tuesday, but we are talking, and we are kind of rolling with some ideas. So y'all need to check that out. Always a pleasure being on here. We are the Big Three for a reason. My 706 brother Champ, my Wisconsin brother Flash. Always a pleasure doing this with y'all. It's like I always say, a topic not thought about is a topic not talked about.
You can check me out. Flash. Sorry. No, you got to do that. You do that every week. Go ahead.
Flash.
He's the greatest of the universe.
You can check me out at Flash22 on Instagram and on TikTok _ under between each letters. And then you can check out my other TikTok channel, Dad Bod to Rad Bod, where I'm just trying to get back into shape and concentrate on my health. Beginning of the school year, I had some ideas for content for something, and I'm trying to get that going again, but it's kind of I got to get the kid going. I had some school stuff going on, so plus I got hockey and she's in gymnastics, so I'm trying to squeeze everything in. So, but yeah, you can check us out there every week, usually on Thursday nights. Check out here, and then I know you can check out PSP, BRF. They're podcasting all the time. So please check us out, like, comment, and subscribe.
And I am the undisputed world champ. Shout out to Columbus, Georgia. Having a great night tonight, man. If you know, you know. Having a great night tonight, man. Proud of my entire city, man. And on that note, man, the Big Three Shout out to the Big Three, PSP, the Pod and Ground chat, everybody, Hot Take, Kenny, Brandon from the block, all those guys. Hey, go Dogs. Hell of a victory. We got a lot of soul searching to do before we play Alabama in a couple weeks. But on that note, we are